I love watching people come and walk the labyrinth. Folks that are sometimes from a far way away that I visit with, who tell me they came here to enjoy the spiritual space and the experience of walking until you reach the center. And I think a labyrinth is a great image for our COVID responses and journey together literally over these past 2 years now. It's been an opportunity as a metaphor to remember that so many times our pathways take us to new and unexpected places, but we are always, through this journey together, trying to reach the center of safety and health and welfare and well-being for our entire congregation and our community. And it's sustaining that same commitment that it's necessary for me to share with you again yet another season in our COVID response as we experience and anticipate having cooler weather and moving more fully into the building. The first thing I want to let you know is that as it's all possible, we will continue to persist in our goals of being able to have in-person and our online worship service as we have planned going into the fall all the way through the end of the year. There would be some remarkable situations that could happen that would change that plan, but for right now, we are committed to our 4 services of worship online each week, as well as our 8:15, 9:45, and 10:45 services. Our schedule, in effect, was set for a few reasons, but one of those was to be able to spread the in-person worship experience through 3 services instead of just 2. And we will continue, even as the weather gets a little chillier, to sustain our 8:15 service outdoors on the patio until it just gets too cold for a piano player to play or for us to sing or worship together, because we know that outdoor space is so spiritually healthy for folks, but also healthier for many of us to be able to worship in person. But starting October 3rd, as we sustain our worship schedule, we are going to ask that all indoor participation at our Arvada campus is masked. That will be all of our worship services, all of our gatherings, all of our small groups, any group, both folks who are part of the congregation and our community partners, will be asked to mask when they come into the building. This is again just holding fast to our mission for health and welfare of everybody, but also recognizing the rise of the strains that are continuing to increase our numbers of COVID exposure and people getting COVID throughout our area. We also will not be, as of October 3rd, having food and fellowship between our services. Now, that's like a stab in the heart of a good Methodist not to have that time. It doesn't mean that we can't fellowship or talk with one another between and before and after services, but we invite you to always commit to being socially distanced, at least 3 feet apart. We're being told by the CDC now, with our masks as we're gathering, as we're singing, as we're worshiping, and doing our community life together. Another important part of our response will be with our children and youth. You know, our kids can't get vaccinated yet, and they have carried in many ways the heaviest brunt, along with their families, and burden of all the transitions and all the changes that they have to make in their schools and their churches and in all of their extracurricular activities. The first thing we can make sure we're all doing is getting vaccinated if we haven't been already, and accepting the booster when it's our time. But because our kids are not vaccinated, we are looking at many options of some hybrids of Zoom classes and outdoor activities for family, youth, and children so that they can continue to grow in faith and grace with one another and with their church family, but also continue to be safe. You may see, and we hope you do, families who will choose to worship with us at one of our 3 worship services. But especially because those kids can't get vaccinated, that's another reason why we need to wear masks as we're coming into the fall and winter seasons of the church's life. We are going to continue this season of COVID response as we have in the past through major seasons of the life of the church through the end of the year at least. knowing always that if something opens up and a possibility occurs that makes it more healthy for all of us to worship together with a change in any of our protocols, we will be the first to let you know. You know, the labyrinth does take you to a lot of different twists and turns, but it always brings you to the center. It always brings you to a place where you know where you are and how you're grounded. And even through this journey we have been on with COVID, I celebrate a church and a faith that is committed to the intersection of science and faith and reason. We are a congregation committed to continuing our witness of having no COVID cases traced to this church or to our preschool. I celebrate being a part of a community of faith that's doing this work together, and we couldn't do it without you. Your faithfulness and generosity in your giving and attendance and prayer and witness and work is commendable. So we're going to continue in this response. We're going to take this through the end of the year. We'll update any kinds of decisions as we go forward, and we trust that we will persist in prayer together and with our presence and our gifts and our talents to be a people who worship and glorify God even through these days, even as we are drawn from all of these twists and turns back to the center.